Last week, Colorado got throttled by Oregon, and this week they once again are a 21.5 point underdog. This week being against Caleb Williams and USC. Are Colorado and Coach Prime going to have a better performance in this game than what they did last week against Oregon? Because it wasn't even close. The game was over before we even got to halftime. Now, Deion Sanders, okay, he needs to make some significant changes on the offensive line. Colorado is not going to have a chance in this game if they can't give Shedeur Sanders better protection. The offensive line doesn't need to be world class. You're just asking for Shedeur Sanders to have more than just 0.3 seconds to throw the damn football. It's like every time he got the damn football, he was getting sacked or he was running for his life. If you want to be able to have a chance at pulling off this upset, you got to give Shedeur Sanders some time to throw the football in this game. A lot of people believe that Colorado should have a way better showing in this game against USC because many people don't like Alex Grinch as a defensive coordinator. And up to this point, USC's defense hasn't really been challenged. This is the best offense that USC has faced up to this point of the season. So let's say USC, their defensive line isn't able to get consistent pressure on Shedeur Sanders. I think then you can see Colorado's offense start to open up. At least when it comes to the passing game, the receivers are good enough that even without Travis Hunter, with Shedeur Sanders being back there at quarterback, you think that Colorado should have success offensively if the offensive line can give Shedeur some time to throw the ball to Xavier Weaver, who right now is listed as questionable for this game, and Jimmy Horn Jr. But Colorado has a lot of depth and talent when it comes to skill position, at least at wide receiver, and they've showcased that. The issue is that can Colorado find a way to play more of a complementary style of football? It's just all Shedeur Sanders, and that's about it. He doesn't really get a lot of help from the defense, and the run game has been non-existent. Dylan Edwards, somebody told me that they don't really think he's a great running back. You see, Dylan Edwards is a great all-purpose back. He's really good when it comes to trying to get explosive plays, when you want to run outside run plays like outside zone or stretch or whatnot. And he's also really fantastic catching the ball out of the backfield. But they need to give Alton McCaskill some work in this game. Alton McCaskill, for those of you guys who don't know who this is a transfer from the University of Houston. His true freshman season at Houston in 2021, he was averaging 5 yards per carry and 16 touchdowns as a true freshman. And we didn't get to see him too much this season because he's still rehabbing from a season-ending injury that he suffered last year. And Coach Prime has slowly started to work him back into the fold of things. And he was asked about Alton McCaskill during his weekly press conference about USC, and he said that they're starting to ramp him up a little bit. They're still taking it day by day. But if Alton McCaskill can get at least 10 to 12 carries in this game, I think that could help out Colorado's run game. The thing with Colorado's run game is that they're not a threat to do anything up the middle. Now, a good amount of that is due to the fact that the offensive line sucks war to do a garden hose, but another reason is that they just don't have a running back that's just built in, is suited to take a lot of carries up the middle. So with Alton McCaskill, if he is more healthy and he's good enough to get a good workload in this game, he could bring a different element to the Colorado run game that we've yet to see this season, which is physicality. We've yet to see one physical run out of Colorado football this year. And if they're going to be able to beat UFC, you're going to need to be able to play some complementary football. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be able to run for 100 plus or 200 against USC's defense. That's not Colorado's game. Colorado's game is spreading the ball out and throwing it at will with Shedeur Sanders, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you would like to be a little bit balanced at times. You know, when everybody knows you're going to throw it, that doesn't help your offensive line. So you need to be able to catch the defense off guard at times by being able to run the football. You don't need to be a run-heavy team. You don't even need to be a great rushing team. You just need to be way more effective at running the football so the defense can at least have to think about you being a threat to run the football versus just allowing their defensive ends to just pin their ears back and know that you're finna throw the football every play so they can just go ahead and play the pass and try to get after Shedeur. You gotta make the defense think. That's part of what football is. And when you can play a complementary style of football on offense, it makes it difficult for the defense to defend you. There's a rumor that came out that said that there were other coaches chipping in to help Oregon game plan for Colorado's offense. Keyshawn Johnson was the one who started these rumors. I don't really know the legitimacy of them because what's there to really game plan for? All you really got to do is get after Shedeur Sanders, slow down the passing attack, and that's about it. Colorado's offense needs to be way more unpredictable. There needs to be a different element to this offense outside of Shedeur Sanders. You're going against some of the best teams in college football, against some of the best quarterbacks in college football. You're not going to be able to have too much success in this game by just saying, fuck it, we got Shedeur Sanders and we got a chance. No, you don't anymore. You see, being able to win games with Shedeur Sanders was cute the first 3 weeks of the season when you were going against Colorado State, Nebraska, and TCU. You're going against some of the best teams, the most talented teams in college football, and you're going to need more than just Shedeur Sanders if you're going to be able to hang around in these games. I love me some Shedeur Sanders, and I know Coach Prime does too. That's his boy. That's his son, but your son isn't the only reason why you got to be able to have a chance to win this game. Colorado needs more out of this run game. They need Alton McCaskill to be able to bring a physical presence to this run game against a USC run defense that's been pretty solid up to this point. Now, defensively, I don't know what the hell Colorado's going to do in this game. This is definitely a game that Travis Hunter is going to be missed. We saw him being missed on defense last week against Oregon, and this week he's going to be missed again because they're going against Caleb Williams. And Coach Prime already gave Caleb Williams his props. We know that this dude is him. He's most likely going to win the Heisman Trophy for the second consecutive year in a row. There's nothing that Caleb Williams can't do, and there's not really too many things you can do to stop this man. I mean, against San Jose State, this fool dropped the snap and still threw a 72-yard touchdown anyway. So if that doesn't tell you how good this fool is, then I don't know what will. And a player that really scares me on USC's offense is Zachariah Branch, true freshman wide receiver. I believe he was the number one wide receiver coming out of last year's recruiting cycle, and the rumors are is that he's probably the fastest football player ever. They're saying that he recorded an in-game speed that was faster than Tyreek Hill, and he has game-changing speed in Colorado secondary. They've given up a lot of big plays, and I could see Zachariah Branch going off and having another big performance like how he did against San Jose State against this Buffalo's defense. And it's probably a player that many people aren't talking about, but anytime you have somebody with this much speed and game-changing ability against a team like Colorado that did a poor job of tackling last week, gave up a lot of big explosive plays downfield, I want to see how they're going to game plan against the speed of Zachariah Branch, because Deion Sanders definitely has to account for this dude. Despite the fact that he's a true freshman, this speed against Colorado could drastically hurt them. I mean, we saw how fast Bo Nix and Oregon were putting points up on this defense. With Zachariah Branch on the field, they probably could score any single time they give the ball to him or put the ball in his hands. Zachariah Branch, look out for him. We're all talking about Caleb Williams, but Zachariah Branch, with that speed, I don't care if he's a true freshman. Against this Colorado defense, they definitely have to make sure that they have all eyes on deck when he's on the field, no matter where he lines up at. He can line up in the slot, outside receiver, or in the backfield. You got to make sure that you have a game plan and that you have guys that are ready to corral this dude and run to the ball like dogs when he has it in his hands, because Zachariah Branch is one of those dudes that he can break a game wide open. The first 3 touchdowns of the game pretty much could go to Zachariah Branch. So Colorado defensively, man, not just do they have to game plan for Zachariah Branch, but they also have to do a better job at being able to limit the amount of big plays that they give up. I don't know if they need to play more off coverage and try to give the receivers a little bit more space off the line to try to limit the big plays downfield. But they got to do something, man, because this defense can't stop a nosebleed, man. And if they couldn't stop Bo Nix, imagine what's going to happen when they go against USC. And Oregon called mercy. They put Ty Thompson in. They need a pass rush in this game. I mean, Caleb Williams, he can beat you either way. Either you're going to give him time to sit back in the pocket and pick you apart, or either you're going to get after him and he's going to get outside the pocket and he's going to beat you outside the pocket, either being able to make plays off platform, or he's just going to be able to pick up yards with his legs, because he's kind of like a running back. He has very good vision. He's very tough to bring down. I mean, this dude, Caleb Williams, ain't soft. Like, people think just because this dude is a light-skinned quarterback who paints his fingernails that this dude is a little soft. Like, no, this dude is a tough son of a gun. I mean, Caleb Williams, he'll run through you for a first down. He has really good size. Like, this dude isn't small. Like, he's thickly built. No homo by me saying that. So Colorado, I mean, it doesn't really matter what Deion Sanders and those boys try to concoct and try to game plan for, or try to cook up to slow down Caleb Williams. You can't slow down Caleb Williams. The only thing you can do is hope to stop him or hope to contain him. So maybe, on the flight to Boulder, Colorado, maybe the jack lag kind of affects Caleb Williams' play. Maybe he eats something that he had no business eating during the week. I don't know, but if Caleb Williams ends up having a bad game, it's probably going to have to do something with him just having a bad performance versus Colorado's defense just having a great game plan. And I'm not saying that to demean Colorado, but, I mean, have you seen Caleb Williams? I mean, what the fuck can this brother not do? So for Colorado defensively, I don't really see them getting too many stops in this game unless they can find a way to magically have a pass rush. And USC's offensive line doesn't look as dominant this season as it did previously in 2022. But, I mean, outside of Jordan Dominic, number 44, they don't really have anybody that really has gotten consistent pressure on the quarterback. And even he hasn't really gotten pressure consistently. He's just their best pass rusher. And not just can USC kill you through the air with Caleb Williams, but they got some really good running backs. Marshawn Lloyd, transferred from South Carolina, he's a beast. He kind of reminds me a little bit of a version of Marshawn Lynch. And you remember how Oregon was gashing Colorado up the middle of those big runs. There was a play when Oregon ended up losing yards on first down. I believe it was a sack. Ended up being like 2nd and 21 or 2nd and long, something like that. And they handed the football off, and one of Oregon's running backs nearly picked up all the yards that they lost on the previous play, and then some. So for Colorado, I mean, if you had a hard time stopping Oregon's running backs, Marshawn Lloyd is going to be a damn headache for this freaking defense, man. I mean, I just don't see how Colorado defensively can get too many stops unless they force turnovers, man. Now, their offensive line, hopefully they can play better. USC does have some monsters on the defensive line in their own right. They got Bear Alexander. I mean, they got some pretty talented and athletic defensive linemen up front, but they don't really got a lot of depth on the defensive line. So for USC, I mean, I don't think they're going to lose this game. I don't know if Colorado can keep it close. Can Colorado cover the minus 21.5? I believe they can, but I believe they could have covered it against Oregon last week. Now, albeit Colorado gave Oregon some extra added motivation, because, I mean, I saw a video earlier that Oregon's social media team posted on their Twitter page, and, man, Colorado had the audacity to go in the middle of Oregon's field and just, like, stomp their feet, rub their feet on the logo. Like, bro, what the hell is wrong with y'all, man? Why are y'all poking the bear? I mean, y'all done won a couple of games, but y'all shouldn't be trying to provoke other teams by disrespecting them in the middle of their field, man. I mean, just go out there and play ball. You already know that you got a target on your back, and you want to give these teams added motivation to beat you and blow you out and embarrass you? Come on, Colorado, man. Like, we need to chill out with the pre-game antics and just be locked in on the game. And after the beatdown that Oregon gave to you last week, you most definitely should be super locked in with a point to prove in this game. And I definitely think that Deion is going to have a way better message in this game, because, I mean, Colorado, yes, they did get obliterated by Oregon, and Oregon looked like the more superiorly, more talented team. But Colorado had a lot of penalties in that game, and anytime they were able to get a little bit of momentum on offense, it got lost because they would turn around and have a holding penalty or a false start penalty. So Colorado needs to get back to playing disciplined football, trying to force turnovers, limiting the amount of penalties they have, and not beating themselves. And they are playing at home. You know it's going to be loud. You know it's going to be sold out. So you are going to have the home field advantage in your favor. We see how much that helps you in this game, but I'm rooting for Coach Prime in Colorado to be able to win this game and to be able to give USC a more competitive game than what they gave Oregon. But defensively, I just don't trust this defense, and I'm not super confident. So hopefully Colorado can avoid getting blown out this week like how they did last week. I believe there's a good chance they could be more competitive in this game because they are playing at home. They're going to be more motivated coming off an ugly loss, but even then, even if Colorado can put up points on USC's defense, which I believe they can, let's say Colorado puts up 35 points in this game. You're saying, okay, Colorado has 35, but how many points does USC have? Colorado could put up 30, 40 points, and USC could put up 70 or 80. I mean, USC, with Caleb Williams at quarterback, there's no telling how many points the Trojans could put up offensively. So I don't know what Coach Prime and his defensive coordinator have in store, but there's only so much you can do to game plan for a quarterback this phenomenal that Caleb Williams is. But who do you guys have winning this game? Let me know down in the comment section down below.